Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the public hearings of the TRRC. Imam, you have the floor. If you can offer some prayers, please.
Thank you, Chair. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Rahmanirrahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Sirata al-ladzina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Alhamdulillah hadina lihaza wa ma kunna linahtadi lawla anna hadina Allahu al-awwal al-akhir wal-zakhir wal-batin. Ya Rabbana lakal hamd, ya Rabbana lakal hamd kama yanbaghi wa jalalu wajhika wa aziman sultanika wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin khatimin nabiyina wa imamil mursalin bi rahmati Allahumma fasalli wa sallim wa barik ala hadhihi an-nabiyil karim sayyidi sanadil azim zul qalbir rahim سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين.
Ameen. Shukran, Imam Yalo. Bishop, if you can offer some prayers, you have the floor, please, as well.
Thank you, Chairman. Lord God Almighty, whose mercies are beyond human comprehension, we continue to knock at your throne of grace, your heart of love and compassion on all humankind throughout the whole face of the globe. We pray that you will grant all of us the humility to be humble, to be merciful, to be compassionate, to be loving and caring for one another. We pray that you will remove greed and avarice from our hearts. Grant us to know that this world is not the end of everything else, but the time will come when each and every one of us will have to stand before you to give an account of our daily lives. So help us to live our lives in modesty and try to regulate our relationship with one another. We commit the witness that will be before the TRRC this day. Grant him the boldness to come here and speak the truth, and also grant the commission the discerning spirit to discern between truth and falsehood. Grant the population, the people of this nation, the Gambia, and those of the diaspora, also the patience to allow the due process to take its proper course. And we know at the end of it all, you will grant this nation peace, stability. In Jesus' name we pray, praise and thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much indeed, Bishop. Council, if we are ready with this morning's witness, please proceed to hear him in.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, commissioners and members of the audience. May I ask that the witness be brought in, please?
Thank you.
I, Dembasol,
I, Dembasol,
do swear that
do swear that
I'll speak the truth,
I'll speak the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Mr. Sow, welcome to the TRRC.
Good morning, Great Council.
Mr. Sow, as a matter of practice before this commission, we do allow for interpretation in the local languages, even though the witness may be speaking in English. That is done so that those listening at home may be able to follow the proceedings. In which local language would you wish that the proceedings be interpreted into?
In full.
Thank you very much. We would make arrangements, Mr. Chair. Kindly allow for a few minutes so that arrangements would be made for translation, interpretation rather, into the fuller language. Well, Mr. Witness, I would encourage you to pay attention to the interpretation. In the event that there are mistakes in the interpretation, you may help correct them. I wish my fuller was good enough. Unfortunately, it's not. Mr. Witness, you've just taken an oath to speak the truth. You know the drill. It's a criminal offense. It's an offense to lie on the oath. It's also an offense to provide false information to the TRRC. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Council owi joni wayri ari ɗo hande pour CDA mangal ɗum dey ko yakkugol luwa sa ari ɗo e nder o leydi a haali a hoɗi alqur'ana a haali ko wona gonga ɗum ko yakkugol luwa.
Could you answer now? You should
Yes,
answer.
yes, I know you. Great Council. Council Miranda.
Yes, so always answer after the interpretation.
Noted, thank you.
And allow for at least a brief 3 seconds between your speech and that of the interpreter so that there won't be any overlap. What are your full names?
Ko hoɗum woni inde ma e yettode ma?
My name is Demba Sow. Demba Sow.
What's your date and place of birth?
Ko to jibinoɗa e ñande hombo jibinoɗa?
6 June 67 in Kampasa village.
June 1967, Sara Wetende, Kampasa.
Wonde jeego.
But where is Kampasa? In which
Kampasa ko hoto woni?
And Fonyi Jarong, West Coast region.
Onyi Yarol, Tumbu West Coast region.
region? Where did you go to school?
Hoto yaɗa ko jangde made école hombo yaɗa?
St. John Pasco School, called
John?
in Sintet.
Pasco School, Sara Wetende, Sintet.
And thereafter?
Gila iwɗa ɗon hoto jaɗa?
Brikama Secondary School for 1 year, then St. Peter's Technical High School.
Mie Brigama Secondary School, Hitande Watra, Mie St. Peters.
You have pursued other academic courses.
A waɗino jangde goɗɗe ɗe manduɗa nandani e ɗin ɗon.
So could you tell us about them?
Joni haalanno ɗin ɗon kala no wayi hoto yaɗa ko hoɗum sifa gandal janguɗa ɗon?
Diploma in Management Studies at the MDI.
Ebi diploma, ɗum woni no toppitoto ligge no yarata, ɗum woni jande wiyetende Management Development Institute, MDI.
In 2008.
Jande wiyetende 2008.
2013 to 2017, I did my LLB and BL respectively.
2013 to 2013 to 2017, maybe BA.
BL. LLB and BL.
LLB kanyume BL.
Are you called to the bar?
Yes, I'm called to the bar.
Yeah, mi non dama ka darnde wete ñawore ne.
You are a lawyer.
Mi wano anka a lawyer.
Yes, lead counsel.
Ay counsel komi lawyer
very much.
min kadi.
You entered the police force, Gambia Police Force, in which year?
Ñande istande hombo fuɗɗuɗa pour wonde police?
September 1985.
September 1985.
That would be 36 years ago, isn't it?
Ɗum wona duuɓi capantati e jeego ɓaawo.
Yes, lead counsel.
council.
You would admit that that is a very, very long time.
Ajabade don boyi hande joni.
Yes, lead counsel.
Boy kai.
And that gives you extensive experience in policing.
No wayno dal dum okkimo gandal mo anduda no yaaji no mawji no mawni kala esengol ligge police.
Yes, lead counsel.
Council.
Where have you worked as a police officer? Give us just a brief rundown of the places you have worked as a police officer and the positions.
Joni halam men dulaji manduda ko don ligguda e ligge police.
After passing out in 86, I was at the Banjul station as a general duty officer.
Irami gani go jang bolangole gole police in 1986 ko Banjul wonno gollude te general duties ko dum
And the same year in 86, I was moved to Denton Beach as a traffic officer.
da hitande wotere ndem 1986 be nabilan traffic office ligge traffic ka Denton Bridge.
And in 1992,
Hitande 1992
I was moved to the police headquarters
be nabilan galle njane police abbe
to form part of a newly created unit called the Complaints and Discipline Unit.
pour mi tawe golle darnade kesse wiete complaint and discipline unit.
And after the coup in 1994,
ila coup d'etat on wadi hitande 1994
we continued in that same unit.
men continue golle amen den ligge gota den.
And in 1995,
Hitande 1995
I moved to the CID, Serious Crime.
mi naba sengo CID serious crime.
1996,
Hitande 1996
I was redeployed to the 4th Squad.
be nabilan 4th squad be anda nawa ko ben topito to afel tapela ya gangal.
And I was at the 4th Squad
Young
until
office
1999,
hitande 1999
when a new unit was also formed at the police headquarters called the Incident Planning Unit.
gilanno be dandi don bala ligge ko office keso kadi wiete do incident plan unit.
I was moved there to head that unit barely for 1 year.
be nabilan ton mi wona yeso jon ton mi hebi don hitande.
And in 2000, I was again moved to the 4th Squad.
Hitande 2000 be nabirlang be rutinlang 4th squad kadi.
And in 2007, I was promoted to an Assistant Superintendent of Police
2007 be bedi makama ngom woni assistant superintendent police
and posted to LRR as the officer commanding.
be nabilang tundu LRR tundu mansa ko ngoto be woni officer commanding manan ko min jok police abe meto ben ko mi woni yeso be mabbe.
And in 2003, I was transferred back to head the mobile traffic unit at Kanifing.
2003 be adilang mobile traffic pour mona yeso jo traffic on ton.
And later to Banjul traffic.
Yeso sera be nabilang Banjul traffic.
And in 2004 May,
2004 hitande 2004 lewru May
15th,
sappo e joyi mayru
I was deployed to Sierra Leone under the UNAMSIL peacekeeping.
be nabilang lady Celerian woni dan le tabindingol ton jam.
I was there till February 2006 when I returned.
Miɗo ton ha lewru February 2006 mi ardi.
And in February, I was redeployed back to 4th Squad as the officer commanding.
February kadi ɓe nawirlam 4th squad pour mona ton yeesojo on.
And in July of 2006,
lewru July 2006
I was promoted to a superintendent of police
ɓe ɓeydi makama ngom ɓe waɗilam superintendent police
and appointed as the head of the crime called the crime management coordinator.
suɓilam ɓe waɗilam yeesojo toppitotoɗo ɗum woni baɗe bonɗe waɗoɗe ɗen.
And in 2006 December,
ha joni hitande 2006 lewru December
I had a 1 week termination of service.
ɓe taƴi golle an ɗen goyata yontere.
That was on the 7th of December. I was given a letter of termination of service.
no heeɓi lewru December balɗe mum jeeɗiɗi ɓe jonilan letter wondema ɓe taƴi golle an ɗen.
Though I didn't know what the reasons were.
gonga mi andano ko honɗum sababi ko honɗum mi waɗi.
1 week later on the 14th,
lewru yontere wotere nde yontere ko be taji gollande nde yontere hikkinde munde
I was reinstated
le di ndon du lewru wotu ndum balde sappo e nayi maru be rutinila e golle den kadi
and redeployed to the NIA.
be nabilan ligge wetede NIA
And at the NIA too,
ton NIA ton kadi
I was part of the investigation team.
mido tawano mido tawano e kafu yibbe be andanda wawne ko kambe lijjindinta be andanda e be adda ton hibe tuuma goddum.
And in January, I think January 22nd,
seki lewru January noga e didi mayru
I was promoted to a director
be beedi makama ngon be wadilan director
and appointed as the director of internal security.
be subilan be wadilan director mo andanda wonde ko kanko toppitoto be gardugal ko wonta kon kande ton tigi woni internal security.
In 2008 July,
lewru 2008 lewru July
I was suspended from the NIA for a certain allegation that was a subject of investigation.
be hadilang yahugol NIA te ko sababi dum ko don no hare ko wodi ko don no lijjindinde fi an be taji be hadila yahugol ton.
Subsequently, on the 19th of September 2008,
o gila dum yawti lewru December 19 sappo jeenay may
September 19th.
September sappo jeenay may 2008
I was charged to court and dismissed on the 22nd of September.
2 million benabilang court be rudilang September.
So from September to May 2010,
Bilandama lewru September ha lewru May 2010
I was out of the system.
mi yalti e golle den.
Of course, from 19th of September to May 10th, 2010,
lewru May sappo e jeenare mayru kanuma e 2010
I was at the Mile 2 prisons.
do kaso mawdo.
And on April 24th,
lewru April noga e nay mayru
2013,
2013 hitande den
I was reinstated
rutinilang e golle den
to the NIA.
dum woni NIA.
And of course, the reinstatement states I should go back to where I was in 2018.
kaydi nin ko holliri don kon be ruttinilang golle kon mi ruttoto kam mi wonno ton.
But that was not the case. I was posted at a certain unit called the analysis as director.
kono wona non kam wonno ton wona to mi rutti ko sengo go kadi mi ruttiti ka wete analyse ko andan be andana wonde ko kambe sedeta ko kala ko wandana hino jibonde don ko kambe sedata dum ha laaba.
And in that same year, around September, I was
den hitara wotere den kadi
transferred to head the external security wing as director.
nattilam woni sengo fedde joginge be andana ko kambe jogi gardu dum ko yaasi on
And
wona yesojo on ton kadi.
September 2014,
lewru September 2014 kadi
I was deployed back to the police where I came from.
nattilang sengo police ngon kam iwroni iwri ton.
And I was posted at the policy and planning unit of the Gambia Police Force as a commissioner.
Nabilang ka sengo yana ka police and planning unit be wana yesojo on ton.
And in 2015,
Under 2015
I was posted as the commissioner of administration at the police headquarters.
nabilang police headquarters mo na yesojo man nda wona kanku toppito to e golle den no yarata non administration.
April 2016, I was moved again
lewru March 2015 be itilang kadi
as commissioner of the Interpol and the criminal intelligence.
be nabilang mo na yesojo do woni commissioner Interpol ko anda wona police be anda aduno fo police kafumo be hawti on wona yesojo on ton.
March of 2017,
lewru May 2017 March or wala May
July, yes, I was again posted to be the crime management coordinator as commissioner.
pour mi wona commissioner do woni wadube bade bonde den do toppitorte.
And in 2018,
2018 hitande 2018
around July,
de July
I was again moved to the admin as the commissioner of admin.
joni kadi mi ruttina admin woni police sengo police toppitoɗo ligge ɗen fof no yarata noon.
And in 2019,
hitande 2019
after my elevation to an assistant inspector general of police,
ila ɓe ɓeydi makama an on pour mi wona assistant inspector general of police,
there was an internal restructuring.
te to woni nder police ton on ɓe waɗi ɓe sansono hen gueɗe place uji ɗuɗuɗi.
And I was moved to as the AIG crime, the CMC.
ɓe nabilam wona AIG waɗi woni CMC crime management coordinator.
And that's where I am as we speak.
Ni ka won ɗo ko toon mi woni.
In a sense, you have worked in most of the relevant offices at the Gambia Police Force.
no wayno tan a liggi ɗo office aji kewɗi wanduɗa ɓen tawa ley police Gambia ɗo.
Yes, Council.
Hey, council.
You have also worked at the NIA.
a liggino kala ɗo NIA.
Yes, Council.
Hey, council.
Do you recall in 2006,
mi anda sa sifto not
March
hitande 2006 March lewru March 2006
when you were appointed to work in one of the panels investigating the alleged Ndur Cham coup d'etat?
on tuma noon ɓe suɓinoma ɓe nattinima e nder kafo mo anduɗa ko ɗum wiyete panel pour on dartina e coup d'état yakkunoɗo mo anduɗa Ndur Cham heeduno on coup d'état.
Yes, Council.
Hey, council.
Can you tell us how the panel was formed, as far as you know?
an no andirɗa ɗum wawa men haalande panel on yimɓe wonɓe nder panel on hono ɓe suɓira.
Council, on this fateful day,
Council nde ñalande
this was 3 weeks after my resumption of duties at the police
no
headquarters.
heeɓi jonte tati guelandama mi ruttinta e golle ɗen.
I was at home
aɗa miɗo galle
around 8 p.m.
aɗa wattuji jeetati ñalorma.
Somebody called me.
Wodi nodduɗo lan.
If I can remember, I think it was Boto Keta.
Si miɗo wawi mandidade mi sikki ko wiyeteɗo Boto Keta ko on noddi lan.
These were officers who were part of the major crime.
E ko yimɓe ɓe andanda wanda hiɓe tawa e sengo police ton liggoto sengo ligge police wiyete major crime.
Inform me, just to inform me kind of,
faminilan tan
that whether I was aware of any attempted coup.
o landila wondema ndax miɗo tini wondema e woodi falanoɓe hippade leydi ndin.
And I said no.
Imomi ala.
And he informed me that yes, there was an attempted coup and it has been foiled.
Famila no wela hari woodi falanoɗo hippade laamu ngu kono ɓe ɗum boni.
And that police officers were converged at the PIU headquarters at Kanifing, including the IGP.
Joni non ni police ɓen hiɓe noddaɓe fof PIU ka galle maɓɓe jane e kañum e yeesojo police on ɓe fof hiɓe toon.
That was just for my information.
Ɗum woni o famini lan.
Well, whilst at home I felt, I also need to be part of the team at the PIU.
Nde mi wonno galle gila o famino la mi e hoora min gadde aw miɗo fotno tawede o la kaɓe police aɓe won tan ɗum woni PIU ka paraji galle
At this stage, what was your rank?
on tuma noon ko hoɗum makama marnoɗa e nder police?
Assistant Superintendent of Police.
makama mom jogui noon ko ɗum wiyete assistant superintendent of police.
Would you consider that to have been a senior rank at the time?
noon a wawa wiide ko place mo anduɗa ko place mawɓe e nder police.
It forms part of the cadre of the senior ranks, yes.
Eyi mo tawa e yeesoɓe police aɓe.
Proceed, please.
o joni continue.
I drove to the PIU headquarters.
mi dogini motango mi yehi ka police paraɓe to.
And I found IGP and some other senior officers with personnel of the major crime unit.
Mi tawi toon yeesojo police amen kañum may police aɓe mawɓe yeesojo ɓe goo hiɓe toon.
Who was the IGP at the time?
on tuma ko hombo wonno IGP?
Usman Sonko.
Usman Sonko wonno IGP on ɗum woni yeesojo police aɓe on jamanu.
Then he told me that so.
Wilan wondema Sow.
Oh, you are here? He said yes.
O hiɗa ɗo?
I said yes.
Imomi eyi miɗo ɗo.
Okay. And he told me, well, there is an attempted coup.
Wilan wondema awa joni nan woodi falanoɓe hippade laamu ngu.
And the soldiers are going around to effect arrest.
joni ni ka wondo militaire be hibe yahude taragol nangugol yimbe.
So I will want you to lead the team for the NIA to form part of the panel of investigation.
joni min ko mi faala ankadi taweda yimbe be andanda wanda be yaha NIA pour be wawa tawede yimbe be andanda be lijjintina fi affaire be yimbe be andanda wanda be faala no be hippade laamu ngu.
I had no option but to accept it.
Donc kam won ko haalannoran ɗon kon feere ala naalo non ko be mi nanga ko wi mi jaɓa ko wi kon.
So I mobilized these officers of the major crime and we all drove to the NIA headquarters.
Non min kadi mi mottindiri ɓe yimɓe ɓe andanda wondema heɓe liggo ɓe sengo police wiyete major crime min yeehi ka NIA.
And we joined the panel.
mi yeehi min bokki ɓe o panel foto ɓe lijjintinde affaire ɓe yimɓe ɓe andanda wanda ɓe falano hippade laamu ngu.
Which comprises of the police.
No tawa e ɓen police a ɓeno e maɓɓe.
The NIA.
NIA ɓenno e maɓɓe.
And the military.
Kañum e soldat uɓe ɓen.
Kindly name them. Could you kindly name the members of the panel?
Awa men haalande inde yimɓe manuɗa kamɓe wonno e nder panel o.
From the police side is me, Demba Sow.
Sengo police a ɓen no tawa e mum min Demba Sow.
Inspector Lamin Cissé.
Inspector Lamin Cissé.
Sergeant Sedi Ndour.
Sergeant Sedi Ndour.
I think Boto Keta then was a corporal Boto Keta.
Sikki on jamanu Boto Keta ko corporal wonno makam makon corporal Boto Keta.
Lamin Cham.
Lamin Cham.
And Abdoulaye Sow.
Kañum may Abdoulaye Sow.
From the NIA, I know Hydra was there.
Sengo NIA ɓe mi defa mi wondema Haydara no ton Abdoulaye Haydra. Modou Haydra.
There was Youssoufa Faye.
Kañum may wiyeteɗo Youssoufa Faye.
Ousmane
Bojang.
And others, I cannot remember their names.
Kañum may woɓɓe go ɓe andandama wonde mi wawata mandare inde maɓɓe.
Yes, that was a Bajinkaya.
Eyyi Bajinkajo no ton.
And then on the military side we had Bobaji.
Sengo militaire soldat ɓen wiyeteɗo ton Bobaji no ton mi sikki.
Falli Jaba.
Kañum may Falli Jaba.
I think Musa Bojang.
Mi sikki e wiyeteɗo Moussa Bojang.
These were the ones I could remember.
ɓe woni yimɓe ɓe andanda mbiɗa wawi manita wedde ɓe.
And we didn't have any kind of formal briefing with any of the authorities except for the fact that
min gilan men hewde toon min heɓani jonde nde andandama no ɓe joɗɗini men ɓe yewtina men ɓe ko golle amen ɗen kono hana si tawi woni wondema si feƴƴi.
I was told by my IG then that I should join a panel to investigate people alleged of plotting.
Si feƴƴi ko yeeso jangon ɗum woni police yeeso police ɓen IG on ko wi'unolan ko wondema mbiɗo foti yawde joni mi bokka e ɓe yimɓe ɓe anda ɓe lijjindina ɓe yimɓe ɓe anda ɓe tulma e dow ngal hippagol laamu ngu.
But at the personal level,
And these are the members of the panel.
Ko ɓe woni yimɓe manuɗa kamɓe wonno e nder panel o.
at the personal level,
hold on a second. These were the official members of the panel.
Ko ɓe woni yimɓe manuɗa ɓe suɓi ɗumen pour ɓe wona e nder panel o.
well, these are the members of the panel that I am talking about.
Eyyi ko ɓe woni yimɓe ɓe andama ɓe tawano e panel on ko ɓen ɓe woni e haalde fimu.
Proceed.
We continue.
At the personal level,
e sango am min on
I had a briefing with the police officers.
mi heɓuno yewtere ɓe andandama mi heɓiɗi ɗum e police aɓe ɓen tawanoɓe toon ɓen.
And I told them,
mi wiɓe wondema
we are here
ɗen ɗo
as investigators,
wawen lijjintinde affaire on.
so we should try to do what it takes
eɗen wawi eɗen wawi etade jokken golle men ɗon no wiiri noon
to do our job properly.
waɗen golle men ɗon no haniri noon.
Whatever is needed,
kala ko andanda hino hajora
we should try to ensure that we do it
eɗen foti etade yiya wondema waɗen ɗum
in regards to establishing the veracity of the allegation.
yiya wondema tuumal ngal andanda wano hino tega e ɓe yimɓe yiyen ɗum wawe yaltinde ɗum ma tabintinen ɗum.
That was my briefings with them.
nden yewtere mi heɓidi e maɓɓe kamɓe e sengo police aɓe ɓen.
So we were ushered into a room upstairs,
e dow étage on dow ɓe naɓimi e suudu wondu
which was supposed to be the venue for the panel.
ton min fotno heɓude nde yewtere panel on.
It's an open room. I think it's a conference room.
suudu yaadunde seedam sigi ko conference um suudu danada wonde hoɓɓe ko ton e watte yewtata jotto yewta.
And we have chairs
heɓi ɗon siranje
put up around a table, a conference table.
Siranje hiɗe tarna e tabal
For the panel members to occupy.
andandama ɓe yimɓe waɗoɓe ɗe golle ɗen kaɓe jooɗoto.
And in front of that same table, there was an executive chair meant for the suspects.
Ngal yeeso ngal tabal kadi e siran no joɗɗina ɗon pour neɗɗo mo andanda wonda himo tuuma e ngol hippagol laamu won ko joɗɗinte ɗon o lande.
Then we were sitting blindly waiting.
Minen fof har minen jooɗi e nder niɓɓere men habbade.
And later,
yeeso seeɗa
this was at night anyway,
ko jemma wonno sa
the first suspect was ushered in.
neɗɗo folomo ɓe andanda wonno ko kanko ɓe soɓiti no tawa e hippagol laamu ngun o adda,
Who happened to be known later to be Bunja Dabo.
on neɗɗo yeeso seeɗa men andi wondema ko wiyete Bunja Dabo.
He was the first to be engaged by the panel.
Kanko woni neɗɗo premier mo andanda wondema o heɓidi yewtere e panel on.
He was moved in by soldiers.
Militaire ɓe naɗini mo nder ka panel on jooɗino toon.
Who was present in the room?
Ko hombo tawano e nder suudu.
At that time, I believe it was only the panel members that at that time.
Sikkide on wattuno ko menen panel yimɓe liggi foɗɓe liggindinde affaire makko on, donc ko menen wonno nder toon.
Later,
yeeso seeɗa
during the engagements,
wattu mo ɓen yewtidani e makko on toon.
and I think I saw Musa Jame and Tumbul. These were very frequent persons in that panel.
mi Musa Jamme kañum e wiyete Tumbul ɓe ko yimɓe anda wondema wattu ɓe arayno toon.
When Dabo was ushered in,
yandema Dabo o adda nder
he was on cuffs,
ɓe ceenuno juuɗe makko ɗen.
and we felt that was wrong.
Minen tigi minen jooɗi ɓe ɗon ɓe yi wondema e faami wondema ɗum ɗo yaadani e laawol.
And we requested that the cuffs be moved.
ƴanti wondema pour ɓe itta ko ɓe ceeni kon juuɗe makko ɗen.
Then we start engaging him blindly because we were not informed of what their level of involvements were.
min noon wattu men fuɗɗi e golle amen ɗen e nder niɓɓere sabu men haalanoko ko honno affaire o yaari.
Did you have any objections to the situation at the time?
on tuma on heɓno lowdi salnoɓe pour ɓe itta halkofo e juuɗe makko.
No, Council, at that time I didn't.
Hala on wattu hay mi waɗano hay goto.
Proceed, please.
We continue.
Well, we let him questioning as to his alibis, what his activities were, and
wattu men fuɗɗimo landade kanko ko honɗum woni e sengo makko honno heɓiri jungo e tuumal ngal.
before that, in fact, we told him
ɓiɗɗo e ɗum tigri men wi'imo wondema
that we were a panel instituted to investigate
menen ko
an alleged
menen ko men panel yimɓe ɓe andanama men suɓama pour men wawa lijjindinde tuumal ngal ɓe tigi ngal e hoorema pour men wawa heɓde goɗɗum.
His fate is determined by his own statement.
Te kanko tigri miijo makko ko woni ko e makko ko ɗum ɗon men heɓi ɗum e makko ko e makko.
We urge him to cooperate in telling us what he knows about the allegation.
men jonni men yamiri mo wondema yo haalu ko andi kon e tuumal ngal fof ko ɓe tegi e hoore makko.
Then we ask questions and he answers.
Donc e dow ɗum ko noon woni men landoto o jaabo.
Before going further, I want to state this.
ɗo mi yahude yewtere nden mi faala haalde ɗum ɗo.
The police are divided into two groups.
Sengo police aɓe men feccuno e hoore amen e celɗe ɗiɗi.
Myself and Cisse were to do or to be part of the interrogators or the people who doing the interviews.
Min e Cisse ko mena wonno wondema min suɓano pour men tawe yimɓe ɓe andana wonde ɓe wona e landagol e jaabagol ngol.
And the rest were now going to do the jottings of what is being said so that they will be able to obtain their statements.
ɓen ɗon wona yimɓe ɓe andanama wondema on tuuma ɗon ko haalata kon ɓe winda e ɗum no ayiya wondema e dow ɗum awa ɓe wawa windude konngol makko ngol.
So Mr. Dabo was interviewed.
Mr. Dabo o woni neɗɗo wonna o landama.
And he said what he knows.
haali ko andi ko
and he was ushered into an adjoining office within the conference premises.
do dum dum la dum yawti be yaltini be nabi moy office goddo e gon sango woto ngo
Where his statement was to be obtained.
on office o mo nabira don ko don be jettata kongol makko ngol te kongol makko ngol be winda e ngol.
After Bunja, I think that day we only had one witness. I'm not sure.
dum feji seeda Bunja am sikki nyande sa ko seeda goto men hebi kono mi howlaaki ha ko honno.
And then the train continues.
Kono dum yaari.
Sometimes we stay very late
wattuji go men wona don ha nibba
and come late morning.
men aro ya si weedi min behara nyalli seeda
Continue.
men feji tan men jettira don min golla men do men kontina.
So most of the suspects
yimbe hewbe mabbe tumabe ben
would be escorted like Bunja was escorted.
no Bunja feƴinira no addira kambe kadi heddi ben ko non be feƴinirte be adde
By people in black,
be wadobe dum men ko be woni yimbe be anda wanda hibe barni di baleji din
and some of them
e wobbe mabbe
would appear before us in a very terrible state.
be ara yeso amen menen wanda men ko men wona lijjido be hara ibe no be woni no hara no boni ha.
Of course, with torn shirts and bruises on their body.
wattuji go ben yimbe be addata be hara wattuji wuttuji dim fono sieki e bali dim fono no barmi.
But then we will still interview them
no ha joni e do dum men jedinabe men landobe
as they would want to talk,
de wonno be faalete haalude
and their statements would be recorded.
haalaji mabbe den e konguli mabbe den windete.
And during this period,
Could you tell us the modus operandi, how the panel worked?
awa min haalande ligge ɗen no yaari panel on no ɗo waɗiri ligge maɓɓe.
well, when a modus of what normally happens, or what was happening,
waɗata ɗum ton kon ko wowi kon waɗude
the panel members would be in the room.
panel ɓen ɓe woni ɓe landotoɓe o neɗɗo tuuma ɗon ɓe woni e kandal suudu.
The show was entirely a military show.
e jonde nden fof ko sa yeehi ari ko jonde min soldat uɓe.
So all, if not most, if not all,
fof si tawi woni wona fof
the arrests were done by military officers.
nangu wongol ɓe nangoɓe ɓe fof ko min ndiyaɗo ɓe yahata nangaɓe.
So as we sit in the rooms,
si minen jooɗi kandal ndun suudu
these arresting officials would be the ones doing the arrest and bringing them into the
yimɓe ɓenana ko kamɓe yahatno taaro no nangoɓe ɓe yimɓe ko kamɓe addata ɓe ha kandal suudu ton.
I don't know whether that answers your question.
mi anda ɗum si jaabi ke landagol ma
I
kanso.
want to know the entire scheme that was going on
mi
in
faala
that place.
mi faala andude piiji ɗin fof no yarata e nder ɗum dula ɗon ɗo won ɗon.
The apparatus at work that produced the report that you guys signed. The commission wants to understand the scheme, how you did your work.
ko hono waɗirɗon ha on heɓi haala e juuɗe ɓe yimɓe commission o noon ɓe faala andude hono liggirɗon hono waɗirɗon ha ɓeya haali
Heɓuɗon konngol e jungo.
ha on heɓi konngol e juuɗe ɓe mo annduɗa ko ɓen adda ɗon.
Council, as I said earlier,
Council no mi wiiri noon ɓaawo
the role of the police was to investigate and to determine the veracity of the allegations.
police ɓen kamɓe golle maɓɓe ɗan ton ko ɗum woni lijjindingol te wawa tabintinde ko honno affaire on waalore.
We form part of a panel with other services.
minen kadi nden jonde ton nden ko minen woɓɓe woni e gollude ɓe annduɗa wando hiɓe immi e dame goo.
So the setup or the modus operandi that you asked,
no wonɗa ko landade honno golle ɗen waalore nomin walliniri golle amen ɗen ton.
what I can comfortably say
mi wawi haalen mi wawma haalande wonno e ɓuuɓere ɓernde an
is the panelists were within the room
e yimɓe landoto ɓen hara hiɓe ɓe wona e kandal suudu ton
and the officers or the suspects were ushered into the room
on neɗɗo mo annanawa himo tuuma on ɓe yaw feƴƴinemo ɓe addama e nder ɗum suudu kam ɓe jooɗi ton
by a different team
ɓe addoɓe mo ɓen ko groupe goo wonata
who I would not confirm are part of the panel anyway.
ɗon mi wawata gonguidinde ko homɓe tawa e ɗum ɗon o
But they were facilitating the work of the panel by bringing the suspects into the room.
kamɓe kadi ɓe wona yimɓe ɓe annduɗa wondema ɓe lijjintinaɓe ma ɓe toppito fof pour addugol on neɗɗo on e neɗɗo tuuma ɗon ɓe addama kadi nder ɗum suudu kam lijjintinoɓe jooɗi ton.
That was it. Look, Mr. Witness, you're a lawyer. You are a seasoned police officer. You are coordinator of crime management. You have occupied the highest offices for criminal investigation in this country. You are Assistant Inspector General of Police. You are asked to describe the apparatus, the scheme that produced that report. Is this the only thing you can tell us?
Council on an place which marda adon mari place which kewdi ko inni do ko a woni yeso mo anduda kambe onon toppitota bade bonde mo anduda yimbe no wara dum onon toppita dum a yahi ha a mari place which kewdi e nder ligge police yo ɗin place uji noon fof ko place uji manduɗa ko place uji waɗɗi yawɗi dow te noon joni kanko ko o lamdi ko ɗum woni no feereji ko on waɗi e nder on suudu ha on heɓi haala e juuɗe ɓeya ko hoɗum waɗa ɗon ko hoɗum toppita ɗon pour ɓe yimɓe haala o walla ɓe yimɓe no anduɗa ɓe addi ɗumen ɗon ko hono ɓe haaliri ko ɗin ɗon rek on lamdoto pour o anda tigi hoɗum waɗa ɗon ha ɓe yimɓe haali.
Is this your testimony about what happened at the panels?
No wayno dal ko ɗum woni haalaji seede ma ko waɗa ɗon e nder panel o.
Council, I've said
Council mi haali de
what the police rule was.
golle police aɓen ko honɗum wonno toon.
The rest of the panel members.
ɓeɗa hedditiɓɓen ɓe andadama wona police aɓe.
And I've said
mi haali wondema kadi
some of the suspects
woodi e maɓɓe ɓe andana ko ɓen tumaɓɓen
would be brought in
ɓe adda e ɓe nder suudu toon
in conditions that are not good at all, very bad.
ɓe addi ɓe haare woɓɓe e maɓɓe no ɓe woniri noon
They would have scars,
ɓe heeɓi bonande
bruises and
balli maɓɓe ɗin fof no
tattered
fecci
shirts,
gutteji ɗin fof no no siiki
meaning some other things have happened to them. Maybe they must have been beaten
ko honɗum firti ko ɗum woni awa no wawi haare woɓɓe e maɓɓe ɓe lappama
before
koɓe
coming
ɓe
to
adde
us.
ɗo eɓe addede kamen wonɗon menen
And of course, they will be seated,
ko gonga ɓe joɗɗinayɓe
and then we will do the interrogations.
minen ɗon min fuɗɗo landagol amen ngol
And this applies to almost all the suspects.
ɓe yimɓe tuma ɓen fof miɗo wawi wiide wondema no wawi ɓen fof ko ɗum ngol lawol goto ngol ko noon min
And
ƴettiri
apart from the panel members that have named the NIA police and the staff,
fetti ɓe panel
military,
membre ɓe landoto ɓe mi haali ɗo en police soldat ɓen kañuma e enaye ɓen
we also would have the likes of Lantombong and Sonko, Usman Sonko,
en heɓay toon ɗum woni neɗɗo wawɗo ni Lantombong kañumma e Ousmane Sonko en
sitting within the room.
ɓe jotto kamɓe kadi haara ɓe jooɗi ka nder suudu toon
Harry Sambu would be coming once in a while.
Hari Sambu kanko wattuji ko aray toon
And we had the likes of Musa Jame and Tumbul Tamba, who are almost there every other time. If one is not there, sometimes both would be in,
wattuji ko
otherwise one of them would be in.
Moussa Jamme kañumma e Tumbul Tamba wattuji ko simɓe fof ɓe ala toon goto e maɓɓe wonay toon ɗum ko wattu fof
And at few occasions, I saw Martin then.
wattu hebbike no toon mi yii toon wiyeteɗo Martin kadi
And also we had within some military officers within the room.
ka nder suudu toon kadi mi yiyay toon yimɓe ɓe andanda wondema ko soldat uɓe ɓe anda heɓe jogui joranji fetelji
And
nder suudu toon
that aside also, the condition was not the best of conditions. It was very bad.
e gonga ko no wawma wiide wondema toon no walorno no affaire no walorno toon ɗum waray moƴƴani hay seeɗa no
To the extent that even us, the investigators, were hesitating to even be talking.
ay minen mi andana minen woni landade ɓe minen wattuji ko haare minen huuli e no affaire o walore noon
I think you forthcoming, you coming up with the issues gradually, bit by bit.
mi sikku a fuɗɗi yaltinde ko min falma andude seeɗa no haalirta ni.
And I think that is a better approach than a very sanitized testimony about what has happened.
mi sikku noon ko ɗum ɓuri moƴƴu ɓura no fuɗɗirɗa ni aɗon laɓɓina piiji ɗin no woniri ni kono non on tuma no haalirtani aɗo moƴƴina piiji ɗin no woniri ɗon.
Let me ask you,
hoɗo wilandoma
what happened there? Was it lawful? Was it in accordance with the law?
ko waɗa e nder on suudu ɗum noon no yaari e luwaji leydi ndina.
Council, there was a sitting government at the time.
council
Mr. Witness, answer my question. If you need to explain further, I will give you the opportunity. Would you answer my question directly?
It's a yes and no, Council.
Yes, tell us the yes.
The yes is the police were there and the panel was instituted, which was very normal, common in those days. That was not the first panel. Go with me, yes, that was the first, but panel have been instituted. And instituted based on circumstances. In this case, there was a circumstance that demanded, demand the institution of a panel. There were people who wanted to create unconstitutionality.
Mr. Witness, just answer the question. Was it?
I said yes or no. So
what happened there? Was it legal or was it illegal? You are telling us about. All the things you have said have no direct bearing on the answer. Was it legal or was it illegal?
I said yes and no. You should explain.
Explain, but
so I'm explaining the yes, and I can explain the yes. No.
But all the things you have said have no bearing. Have no bearing on the answer.
Well, that's my answer. If it has no bearing to, that is what I understand from the question.
Let's pair ourselves with irrelevant issues and focus on the relevant issues. Was it legal or was it illegal?
Yes or and no, Council. That's my answer.
Okay, tell us why it was illegal.
It was illegal because people were brought in conditions that were not the least bearable, acceptable by the panelists. You can investigate without beating, without torturing anybody.
And why was it legal?
It was legal because we were investigating an activity that has to do with toppling a government.
But Mr. So, how on earth can one issue be both legal and illegal? How on earth?
How don't know hunde manudan or loyadi elwa o yadani elwa kala.
In one legal system, how can an activity be both legal and illegal at the same time?
Hunde wotere manduda ko hunde manduda no wada joni non on hono wawata wonde hunde ngo sengo wiya mboni yadi elwa ngodo sengo o yadani elwa.
And so I can only present my facts for the determination of the commission. The legality and illegality, as far as my take is concerned, I will present what I have, and it will be subject of scrutiny by the commission.
But the question is an easy one. You said what happened was legal, both legal and illegal. So I ask you the question.
Ko halda ko wiida ko wada don salari no yadi e loi kono sandari kala wa yadani e loi ko dum o landunoma ko dum non o fala pour filta.
How on earth can an activity be both legal and be illegal at the same time?
Hunde mo anduda wadama don hono wawata hunde mo anduda no yadi e loi o yadani e loi kala.
Because what you have said is a fundamental contradiction in terms.
Ko hala manduda ngon sengo ngoni hala kanu yedda hore makko.
Sub-council is telling me that the issue of the overthrow was legal. Then everything was illegal. That's my thing.
Mr. Witness, the question you were asked is whether the activity, the investigative activity, all the things that you have done there, were those things legal or were they illegal? Were they lawful or were they unlawful? That's what you were asked.
Ko landuma ko dumuni no landirton be yimbe mo anduda ko ben adda don ko ben tuma no on landiri ɗan ɗon e piiji ɗin mo annduɗa yaadi o lamdagol ko liggeji ko waɗɗo ɗon ko ɗum o faala andude hono ɗin ligge walla hono ɗum piiji waɗa ɗum noon no yaadi e loi walla o yaadani e loi ko ɗum o faala andude.
So if you say all, that's why I'm saying yes or no, because I know not everything I do or the panel did was wrong. That's my thing. So I can only present it as I understand it at the time.
Mr. Witness, if you carry out lawful activities in the investigations and you carry out other unlawful activities, wouldn't it vitiate, wouldn't it tarnish the whole entire activity and render it unlawful?
Ko joni si piiji ɗin yaari ni e nder ligge mo annduɗa ko ɗum waɗɗon si ta on waɗi ɗon piiji goɗɗi mo annduɗa no yaadi e loi on mbaɗi ɗon kala piiji goɗɗi mo annduɗa o yaadani e loi ɗum wawa yakkude inde ligge mon ko mbanno ɗon fof e ɗum wawa ɗum yakkude yakka inde ko ligguɗon ko.
Wouldn't it?
That will be subjected to interpretation based on the facts that are presented.
Like what? Like what interpretation?
The issue of vitiating all the rights because of a certain conduct. To me, I would agree that there were a lot of unlawful activities, yes.
So wouldn't those unlawful activities render void or unlawful the enterprise that you are doing? Okay, let me revise it. You carried out investigations to collect statements, correct?
Liggintini pour mbawa hedde kongol e juuɗe ɓe yimɓe manuɗa kamɓe tuma.
Yes, Council.
And these statements were unlawfully obtained.
Tenon kongol mo annduɗa ko ɗin heɓɗon e juuɗe ɓeɗo no heɓirɗon ɗum yaadani e laawol.
Maybe you need to come up a bit so that I understand what you want me to say.
Okay. And there were illegalities in the process, correct?
No waɗirɗon ligge ɗen no woodi piiji mo annduɗa yaadani e laawol.
Yes, yes, I've said that.
And within those illegalities render those statements illegally obtained?
Joni piiji mo annduɗa ɗo no tawa ɗon mo yaadani e laawol tigi tigi ɗin ɗon wawa yakkude konngol mo annduɗa ko ɗi kongi on heɓi e juuɗe ɓe yimɓe.
If that is subjected to legal interpretation by yes, because that's
But what other interpretation can we subject them to apart from legal?
Kono joni non hono men larirta ɗum e men wiya ɗum ɗon ko ni wayi sita men ɓaŋani laawol mo annduɗa ko on laawol men fotno ɓaŋde.
Council, when I say legal, I am talking about the verdicts. That's what I am talking about. Because at the end of the day, we've seen police obtaining statements. Somebody said, I'm tortured, it goes to court, and it is subjected to that interpretation. That's what I mean. That's the interpretation I'm
That is not an interpretation. That is a trial for the purposes of determining evidence in order to establish whether there were illegalities to render it inadmissible.
Wala pour ɓe haalira no waɗirani ɗum ɗon ko laawol mo annduɗa ɓe ɓami pour ɓe annda ko hoɗum waɗa ɗon ko sengo loi o haali on haaju walla no waalori pour ɓe annda gonga o hono yaari.
So what we are talking about is you already acknowledge that there were illegalities.
Komin halata ɗo woni ko ɗum woni a haali gonga piiji goɗɗi waɗama ɗon yaadani e laawol.
You accept there were illegalities.
An hoorema a jaɓi ɗin ɗon de yaadani e laawol.
Have you not?
Very well, I've said it.
Good. And wouldn't those illegalities render the process unlawful?
That's why I have a problem with you. I don't think I would conclude it that way. That's the only thing. But I said activities took place that we are wrong.
non mi jawi ɗum no mbaɗe
For it to conclusively say that every other activity was just
fotani yaɗo
that's where I have a
ɗum
problem.
hippagol laamu
But it's subjected to
But what is your problem with that? Tell us the law which makes it a problem for you to accept my proposition.
joni haala men luwa mo annduɗa ko ɗum waɗi ha a wawata jabde min komi hollirini ɗo ko.
Council, your proposition is your proposition. I am telling you, I am not after telling you the law. My understanding of
But Mr. Witness, you are a lawyer, I am a lawyer, the commission is here listening to the evidence that is being presented. The commission is advised also by lawyers. Tell us the law which renders my proposition untrue.
joni komi faala rek min komi hawlima ko haala men luwa mo annduɗa ko ɗum yakki konngol am o komi hollirima ɗo ko on luwa mi faala pour haalalalan.
Council, I don't think I said your proposition is untrue.
mi sikkani mi yiɗo wondema e miƴƴoma ko halɗa ko wona gonga.
You are changing your position. You challenged my proposition. You said you cannot agree with it. I challenge you also. Tell me the law which makes my proposition untrue.
So wino komi haali komi hollima ɗo a wawata ɗon jabde kono joni ko ɗum waɗi mbimami joni hollam luwa mo annduɗa ko ɗum waɗi ha an a wawata ɓangde komi hollima ko.
I think Council, disagreeing with your position, I will not agree that means your proposition is wrong.
So you are just disagreeing because you are being disagreeable.
No, I'm disagreeing because you are putting the whole thing into one context and saying, giving it that meaning. That's where I have.
Perhaps we can hold on to interpretation for now because this is legal. It wouldn't interest those watching at home. Mr. Witness, do you understand the concept of vitiating factors?
So I am here to tell you what I know as far as the...
Answer the question. Do you understand the concept of vitiating factors?
No, I don't.
Perhaps that is the problem. But let me explain it very briefly. If you take a drum of water, pure spring water, you put urine in it, you would not drink it, would you? Would you?
It depends on the circumstances you are concerned, I think. Yeah. You can drink urine depending on where you are.
Okay, maybe you would, but I don't think any other normal person would knowingly drink water that has urine in it. So by putting the urine in it, you are in fact spoiling it. And that is vitiating factors in law. When you bring in a person and you torture the person, or you create an environment where a statement could not lawfully be obtained, the torture and that bad environment are vitiating factors. These are factors that would render the statement illegally obtained. Am I right in law?
If that is the law, I don't contest what the law says.
If that is the law, are you not sure about it? You are a lawyer. You are a seasoned police officer. You are Assistant Inspector General of Police. I will just move on, Mr. Chair. Perhaps this is the problem. Are you satisfied with the product of your work in that panel?
ko ligguɗon e nder on panel o ɗen ligganon no welima no yiiɗi ɗum nani.
To an extent, yes, Council.
And that
too is very shocking.
On kala non no woni hunde manduɗa no metti ɓernde no taƴa ɓernde.
And let's interrogate what happened in that panel.
Joni ndaren ko waɗa e panel on.
The panel comprised the police and NIA workers as interrogators and statement takers, correct?
Panel on police e yimɓe NIA kamɓe tawa e panel on kamɓe lamdata yimɓe kamɓe ɓangata konngol mo annduɗa ko ɓen ɗi yimɓe haalata tuumaɓe wonɓe ɗon.
And you would agree that the panel did not work alone?
Non a jaɓat panel o wona kamɓe tigi tigi rek waɗi golle ɗen.
You agree?
Yes, Council.
Council,
You agree that the environment in which these statements were taken, okay, before even we go to that, you say there were escorts, people who would bring the suspects wearing black.
Awi yimɓe ari ɗon mo annduɗa kamɓe addata ɓe tuumaɓe te noon ɓen yimɓe koko ɓawli kon rek ɓe ɓornoto.
Did they carry guns?
ɓe noon ɓenin tammi fetelaji.
Yes, Council.
Council.
Did they wear masks over their faces?
nta ɓenin ɓorni kala masque e yeesoɓe maɓɓe.
Yes, Council.
Council.
Don't you find that intimidating?
ɗum noon wona hunde ma annduɗa no holɓina.
Yes, I do.
Is that how a suspect has to be interviewed?
ko noon woni laawol ma annduɗa no moƴƴi pour yimɓe ma annduɗa ɓenin tuumimo ko noon ɓe foti ɗumen lamdirde.
They were not interviewing, Council.
But if the suspect is put together with people who are intimidating, isn't that itself one of the factors that would render a confession inadmissible in court?
Sita neɗɗo manduɗa ɓenin tuumi on neɗɗo te noon on neɗɗo no waɗa e yimɓe walla omo wondi e yimɓe manduɗa ɓenin woni e nder on mahama e manduɗa ɓenin hulɓine ɗum rek tigi tigi wawa yakkude yimɓe ɓen ɓernde neɗɗo o ha o haala ɗum haala mo annduɗa wona anniya makko.
Those are possible factors, yes.
And you said that these people were brought in, sometimes they are bruises, blooded, clothes stoned. Doesn't that indicate that these people were manhandled?
Yimɓe woɓɓe adda ɗon wiiɗa wuttejo maɓɓe sa wutte ko ɓorni ko dulaji no seeki balli maɓɓe no waɗi gañande dulaji no wawno dal jiijam kala no woni e balli woɓɓe ɗum noon sa daari ɗum noon ko hono wayi ama an hoorema.
Isn't that indicative that these people were malhandled or manhandled?
Sikku ɗum wawama hollude ɓe yimɓe dal ɓe natti e nder tampere.
Yes, Council.
Isn't that a factor that would render a confession inadmissible?
ɗum noon tigi wawa wonde o neɗɗo ko so haali goɗɗum ɗum dey sa ndaari sengo luwa wawa wonde haala mo annduɗa ɓe ɓangata ɗum.
Possible factors, yes.
It's a factor, yes. It's not a possible factor, it is a factor. You would agree with that?
That's from you, Council. My position is a possible factor.
It is a factor, nonetheless. It is a factor that can render a confession inadmissible.
On ko dalila ba anduɗa
please.
Wawa yakkude haala ko ɓe yimɓe haali.
According to law, Mr. Witness, if you know the law, you would accept that this is a factor that can render a statement inadmissible.
Ko luwa o ko haali dey sa ndaari ɗum hunde komin haali ɗo joni on wawa wonde hunde mo annduɗa yakkat darnde haala mo annduɗa woɓɓe wawata ɗum bangde.
True or false?
Possible factor, that's what I said, Council.
Well, if you wish, Mr. Witness, you can stick to incorrect or inaccurate statements of law, that's your choice. But if you want to answer questions truthfully, you would gladly accept that what I state is true.
Joni dey seede si welima a wawa ɓangde laaɓi wanduɗa no yaadi e luwa no fewiri ni sa yiɗi kala wawa ɓangde laaɓi wanduɗa ko ɗin laaɓi an hoorema a yiɗi ɗum fof a wawa laarde hoorema ndaara ko ɓangata.
That is a factor that could negate or that could invalidate a statement.
Then
render the statement inadmissible.
yiri ɗum e sengo luwa neɗɗo sita natti e nder tampere on sifa tampere wawa wonde haaju kala ko haali ko on tampere ko fawa e dow on neɗɗo si haali goɗɗum wawa wonde ɗum rek on haala wawata darde dulaji.
And so that's why I said possible factors, because it could.
But if it could, then it is a factor. It is not a possible factor. You just hiding behind negativing or words that would give it a nuance that is not deserved. But you just hiding behind that. But you know fully well that this is a factor, not just a possible factor. It is a factor that can render a statement inadmissible.
Ɗum de sandari tigi tigi wayri an horma awi ɗum wawa wonde sandari wawa wonde wayri ɗon kayno dari joni sandari e sengo go kala on wawa wonde wawa wona hunde mo anduɗa ɗum wawa yakkude e darde on haala ha duyaji goɗɗi sa darni ɗon haala ɓe ɓagata ɗum.
But let me change the question. Do you think that it is normal and acceptable in civilized societies for a suspect to be brought to the interview with blood over the person, and then the person is sat down and interviewed?
Joni fadumi sansa no mi lamdiri ɗum sita neɗɗo addama mo anduɗa ɓalludu waɗi jiiƴam wutte on no seeki sa daari ɗum andat o dey natti e nder tampere ɗum noon no yaadi e laawol pour on neɗɗo ɓe lamdomo ko haaju mo anduɗa ko ɗum woni dalila ko adda ɗon ko.
Is that acceptable in civilized societies?
Yimɓe wawa ɗum ɓamde dulaji mo anduɗa ko yimɓe mo anduɗa ɓenin fini.
Would you answer now, please?
Said no counsel.
Thank you. If you answer as soon as I ask the question, then it will model the record. Is it normal, is it acceptable in civilized societies for a suspect to be brought in haggard looking, in tattered clothes and interviewed? Is it acceptable?
Ɗum noon dulaji no wodi sita ɗum yimɓe wawa ɗum ɓamde sita neɗɗo no adda omo tampi te noon gude ko ɓorni ko fof ɗo yakki sa ɗum noon on neɗɗo sifa e nder dulaji manduɗa yimɓe no fini ɗon a sikkuɗa ɗum yaadi e laawol pour ɓen sifa yimɓe ɓaga haala maɓɓe.
No counsel.
Ala counsel.
Is it acceptable that suspects are beaten and brought into the interview room and interviewed? Is that accepted?
Sa ndari kala neɗɗo manduɗa ɓe lappimo ha ɓe pari ɓe addamo e nder suudu pour ɓe lamdamo ɗum kala dulaji mo anduɗa yimɓe wonɓe ɗon no fini ɗum noon sikkuɗa yimɓe ɓagat ɗum.
No.
Ala counsel.
And isn't it the truth, Mr. Witness, that these suspects were beaten and brutalized and brought for the interview? Isn't that the truth, Mr. Witness?
La sandari wona o woni gonga ɓe yimɓe ɓe nanga ɓe lappa ha ɓe tampi ɓe addi ɗumen e nder suudu pour ɓe lamda ɗumen so wona ko ɗum wadno ɗon.
Some of them, yes.
Woɓɓe maɓɓe ɓe lappama ɗum ko gonga.
Is that acceptable in civilized societies?
ɗum noon yimɓe mo anduɗa ɓenin fini jamma mo anduɗa ɓenin fini ɓen noon ɓe wawa ɗum ɓamde.
No.
Ala counsel.
Is that acceptable in the laws of this country?
ɗum noon luwaji e Gambia ɗo ɗum noon yimɓe wawa ɗum ɓamde.
No.
Ala counsel.
So the people who were brought in after having been tortured, do you think that you proceeded with them in accordance with the law?
Yimɓe mo anduɗa ɓe tampini ɗumen ɓe yii mette ha ɓe pari ɓe adda ɗon onon on lamdi ɓen ɗon sikkuɗa ɗum noon ko haaju manduɗa no feewi.
As far as the panel was concerned,
comme no wayni ɓe yimɓe joɗinaɓe toon ɓe nandaɓe fi maɓɓe sa dartidika ɗum.
we were all not in for what we saw.
Menen ko men yi kon woɓɓe maɓɓe men ko men yi kon e maɓɓe kon ko ɓe waɗa kon men fof woɓɓe amen men jaɓani.
Were you in for it?
An hoorema aɗo yiɗi ɗum.
But you are here you sat here and endorsed the work of the panel. You now have an opportunity to change your mind, but you sat there and endorsed the work of the panel, and I was shocked by what you said.
Joni day we lawol pour sansa mijoma engo sengo non a jodi do e a ni ligge panel o dum non don no jakinin mi
You changed your mind about the work of the panel, didn't you?
Asansi mijoma e sengo ligge panel o.
You've changed your mind, correct?
Asansi don.
After I gave you a litany of the violations, now you change your mind.
Can you I'm listening to the interpreters anyway.
Yes.
Yes. No gelami hala nima piji e labi manduda ko dum loi o haali o walla piji mu fat anduda yimbe finbe e jamanu mabbe piji manduda be wata bangda gelami hala nima bidim piji kontuma sansata mijoma o walla.
And so my position as per my earlier statement
and so min darne andan comme no mi haalere ni no bawo
does not suggest that I categorically state that whatever the panel does was right. I didn't say that. And I would never say that. I also
Mr.
would not say,
Witness, yes. Mr. Witness, you are given an opportunity to make an assessment of the work of the panel, and you endorsed it.
Jode be okima lawol purundara ndartina an horema e mijoma liggintina ligge panel o ko be wadi ko kono amojji ni ligge den.
You endorsed it.
Amojji ni dum de.
And now you are telling us that, well, some people did not like what was happening. You also did not like what was happening. You just endorsed the work of the panel.
You
can change your mind, but you earlier endorsed the work of the panel.
Council, my response to question in regards to the conduct of the panel, I said yes or no and no. That's what I said. So if you are now trying to generalize that to mean that I said everything the panel was right, that is who saying it. I didn't say it.
My friend, even if they did 1 million correct things and they did one fundamental wrong, that one fundamental wrong can vitiate all that million things they did right as far as the admissibility of the statements are concerned. Findings of the commission.
Si be liggi manuda no yaha ko 40 million ko moƴƴi e sengo ligge den be wado yi hunde wotere manuda ko hunde mawdo kono ko hunde bondo on hunde goto on hunde bade bonde on wawa yakkude walla ya wawa yakkude inde ligge ko be wadi ko.
What do you say to that?
My position is unchanged, except that you are trying to give a meaning and regards to what I said, as who have said what we said, did at the panel, everything was right. I didn't say that. Okay. I said very clearly that it's a yes and no. In the no, I said what my understanding was, and in the no, I also said something. So if you are now bringing all that to one, sure.
Could you take it again? And allow for the interpretation.
Yes. Sorry,
put your answers in short segments. Yes, short statements rather.
I said my response to your question in regards to the legality or illegality of the panel's conduct. My answer was a yes and no. But your present position is like you are now saying I said all that the panel did was right, and I never said that. The vitiating factors that you've said, the vitiating factors that council alluded to earlier, I could not say much about it because you said that is the law.
mi wawata haalde ko ɗuuɗi e ɗum noon sabu
I
luwa
said,
ko ɗum haali
subjected to interpretation because for me,
heɗi no lutti e noon ɗum firtirte noon
interpretation of the law, it does not necessarily stop at the process of accepting or not accepting personal statement.
noon ɗum hattani wigol wondema
That's why
What are you talking about?
What I'm saying, when I talk about interpreting the law, I said when a magistrate or judge is sitting listening to whatever happens, he sit and get those facts together and then give it a meaning in the context of law. That's what I'm saying.
misal si tajo ñawore
It's a process.
tajo ñawore dow ma
Based on what had happened,
ɗo yo tajuɗo ñawore no o jentinoto haalaji ɗin fof
even though it was wrong in some context,
Even though it was wrong in some context. Interpret that.
sita andari sengo go no yaldani e lawol
I cannot conclusively admit the fact that everything that the panel did at the time was wrong. That's why I'm saying that.
joni mi wawata darde mi wiya kala ko panel o wadno untuma fo yadani e lawol
Let me ask you basic questions in law.
waɗum mi landama piiji manduɗa ko piiji waɗɗo hoore e nder
Sengo luwa.
sengo luwa
If you commit one violation,
sa waɗi bonande goote
does it matter that you have done several things without committing a violation?
ɗum noon ho yimɓe foti laarde a waɗino piiji kewɗi ɓaawo mo annduɗa ɗin no moƴƴi
Like violation like what?
bonnugol
bonande waɗa
bonande wayde o honne
Okay, here was a process, you said.
mbiɗa
The process of investigation.
liggotingol
If you obtain a statement illegally, does it matter that you have read the person some of his rights?
so joni sa lamdi neɗɗo mo annduɗa a foti heɓde konngol e junngo makko te noon no heɓirɗa on konngol e junngo makko yadani e laawol joni noon on e feere mo waɗnoɗa ha a heɓi on konngol ɗum noon no laaɓi walla moƴƴani
Does it matter?
ɗon noon a laarat piiji ko wanno ɓaawo no moƴƴi walla o haaju ko waɗi no boni joni noon ko hono darirta ɗum
Does it really matter? Cut the interpretation now, let's do it just in English. Does it really matter?
When it is determined by the courts, it doesn't matter.
Why are you fixated on the courts? You are the officer there, senior police officer. Your responsibility is to uphold the law, to implement the law, to enforce the law. Do you accept everything and then you take it to court, or do you do the right thing?
In this case, the panel didn't take anything to the courts. The panel did their report and sent it to the AG's chamber.
We know you did that. The issue is whether you should do the right thing or you should do the wrong thing and then send it to the courts. What should you do? The right thing or the wrong thing?
That's why it escalated to some other areas. If it is wrong from where we were, the AG's chamber should be able.
I am talking about your obligation as a police officer.
Yes.
I am talking about your obligation as a police officer. Should you do the right thing or should you do the wrong thing?
Right thing.
Do you believe you did the right thing?
To an extent, no.
No. It's either the right thing or the wrong thing. It's not the right thing to an extent. It is either wrong or it is right. Did you do the right thing?
To an extent, Council, that's going to be my answer.
So you are hiding behind nuances. You are not even sure of your position. It's either right or it is wrong.
I think, Council, there is an element that you also need to understand. I wish I would not want to go this far to say anything, but we are looking at an issue that happened at a time within a certain government system that I would say, even if, sorry to say that, you were sitting there.
No, don't use me as an example. You cannot
just want
use
to-
me as an
Okay,
example.
sorry.
I don't work by your standards.
Sorry,
Mr. Witness.
excuse me, okay, that's a misstatement, that's okay. The condition was like, you may be wrong in some aspect, but for you to say anything, it's a problem.
But Mr. Witness, we haven't gone that far yet. What you have done is you have defended the outcome of your work. You said it was okay, much to our shock. You said it was okay. I gave you a list of the violations, just a few. I haven't even gone into the nitty-gritty yet. I haven't reached the full detail yet. And here you are stuck. You cannot defend that record. All of you acted in illegality. That is the truth, isn't it?
That's your statement, Council, it's not my
But
statement.
that is the truth.
Well, I wouldn't say no, but that's your statement.
So if you don't say no, you would obviously say yes.
If you ask me, I would say what I would say. But if
All of
telling-
you acted in illegality.
Well, that's your statement, Council, with due respect.
What is the truth? Mr. Chair, let the witness answer the question. What is the truth? Did you act lawfully or did you all act unlawfully?
The truth, Council, is in that situation, conducts were made that were very unlawful.
Did you all act unlawfully by sitting there and accepting those illegalities to prevail, and you submit reports, sanitized reports, which stated nothing about those illegalities? Did you act according to the law?
I wouldn't say
Did
sanitize.
you act according to the law?
I act according to what the law said I should do as far as the statement recording was concerned.
Okay. Did you write anywhere in the reports that these people appeared bruised, bloodied, and in tattered clothes? Did you state that in your reports?
In my history in the service, I've never seen.
I'm not saying that. The question is, did you do it or did you not?
It was not a report that would state how they appear. What they said in their statements.
Did you honestly, according to your oath as police officers, did you honestly state how the statements were obtained?
And so the report was not to capture that. No.
But if you did not, you misled the whole country. If you did not, you misled the whole country.
Except if those that came before you depart from what we said in the report. Because whatever they said here is what they said in their statements, and that's what is captured in the
Mr.
report.
Witness, you knew there was a voir dire in all these cases. Don't you know that?
Yes, I'm told there was.
Yes. And what was the purpose of the voir dire?
Of course, it was to check the credibility of the statement based on whether it was voluntary or not voluntary.
And you knew about the illegalities that would render the statements inadmissible? You knew that? You told us here before?
Well, I've said it, Council.
Yes.
What else?
Okay.
Yes.
Did you go to the court to say, well, when these people were interviewed, there were a lot of illegalities that happened? Did you do that?
I don't think anybody would walk himself to any court to say
Okay.
anything without-
And by your silence, these people have been sentenced, these statements have been admitted because people like you remain silent? Is that not the truth?
That is not the truth, Council. I'll never remain silent because I'm called here to come. And if I was anywhere, I would-
Well, now it's ex post facto. We are talking when it mattered. If you had done the right thing, we wouldn't be sitting here today interrogating this particular issue. It's because you did not do the right thing.
Council, I think you are trying to be a bit, I don't know.
Go, answer the question, Mr. Witness.
I've never in my life as a police officer walked to a court and say I must testify. It has never happened in my life.
Don't
and
you-
all the time,
Don't
When
you have
I-
a duty as a citizen, as a police officer who knows or is privy to facts that are critical in a case, don't you have an obligation? Don't you think it's your civic responsibility, or in fact, your official responsibility to write a statement to say, I was there, these statements were unlawfully obtained? Don't you think that should be your responsibility?
I don't know that as a practice in the Gambia here.
But
What
okay,
if it-
morally, is that
We're not talking
responsibility?
about what the law says.
No, I am coming to
I'm
that.
talking about moral.
Morally, is that an obligation?
Council, I think maybe you are trying to.
No, answer the question and stop characterizing me as to what I am trying or not trying. Just answer the questions.
Morally, whether
Are you obligated
to
to blow the whistle to say that this was a blatant violation of the rights of Gambians? It should not be a basis for the conviction of these people. Don't you think you are morally obliged to?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, fine. But don't you think that as a police officer, you sat there, you knew an illegality was going on. Don't you have an obligation to stop it or to blow the whistle or not to be part of it?
To who, Council? With due respect, to who? If I'm going to blow the whistle, to who?
Do you have an obligation? Before
No,
we
you
talk
see,
about to who, let's say, do you think you have an obligation? You
Mr.
accept
Chair,
unlawfully.
let me make a position here. It's as good, it's important to all Gambians and non-Gambians watching to understand that some of the questions, I have no problem with answering questions.
Well, you are not answering questions.
If Council is suggesting that I should be a whistleblower in an environment that I want to understand, to who do I blow this whistle?
Mr. Witness, let's first deal with the question. Do you believe that you had an illegal, did you believe that you had a legal obligation to ensure that that illegality did not proceed?
No, legal obligation to ensure.
Yes.
To terminate the panel, you mean? Is that what you want to suggest?
You could have refused to carry on with the interviews.
It's good that some people were not here. For me to walk out and go home,
Yes.
you think that was a possibility, Council? With due respect?
Yes, it was a possibility.
Well, I didn't try it, and I wouldn't try it. Even today, I don't think it's relevant.
Couldn't you have written in the statement that this person was beaten prior to the interview?
I didn't write a statement, Council.
Did you ensure? Well, those who wrote statements were under your command, correct?
Yes?
Did you order them to do that?
I ordered them to obtain statements from suspects.
Did you order them to state that?
I ordered them to obtain statements from witnesses, from suspects.
Did you order them to state the true facts that these people appeared beaten and dazed when they gave their statements?
No, that was not supposed to be my orders to them.
Did you think that that would have been the fair and appropriate thing to do under the circumstances?
Fair enough, if that's your take, I would agree.
Don't you even think that the mere fact that these people have been tortured is reason why the interview should not take place?
Chairman, my fuller listeners are denied interpretation.
No, you just trying to buy time to think through your answers. Answer the question. Answer the question.
Mr. Fowler,
Just answer the question.
Yes, please.
You agree?
To say?
You agree that no interview should have taken place in view of the fact that these people were tortured?
Well, for today I will agree, but then not yesterday. Council.
Look, the law that exists today is the same law that existed then.
But yes, that's
So you acquiesced, you folded and accepted the situation. Isn't that the case?
I think it is the system that you need to understand.
No.
If
You can make us understand the system later. Let's now try to understand your conduct, what it is that you did.
Right.
You sat there and accepted the illegality. Didn't you do that?
No.
What did you do?
In the context of the beating, I didn't do much.
You did not do anything.
Yeah.
You accepted the situation.
Yeah, because the beating was not done in that room.
But in fact, that is not the case, Mr. Witness. Some beatings were done in the room. And your colleagues, those who were there with you, they attested to the fact that some beatings were done in the room.
Well, that could be their statement, but as far as I'm concerned, what
Are they lying, Mr. Witness? Remember,
I'm not here to disagree with anybody's statement.
no, Mr. Witness, you are here to testify to the truth.
Very well, but not to disagree with anybody's statement. That I will not do.
Even if you don't disagree, we will make you answer questions. Are those witnesses lying?
I'm not sure. That's their testimony.
So it means, therefore, you are not even sure of your testimony. You are not even sure of what you say. Because they say it's this, you say it's that, and you are not sure whether they are right. It means you are not sure that you are even right.
That's why I don't know whether you are also sure that they are right. But because I was there, and if I'm telling you what happened there, and you are telling me I'm not saying the truth, then
Alaji Martin has confessed here that yes, he slapped Bunja Dabo. Is he lying? Is he lying?
Not in that venue.
In that room.
Well, I cannot remember seeing that.
You see, what you're trying to do, Mr. Witness, is trying to give a sanitized version of what has happened in that place. That place was also part of the process of torturing people and getting them to give unlawful confessions which would be used as proof against them. That is the scheme in which you worked. That's the truth, isn't it? Every witness who appeared here has accepted that that was the truth. From Director General of NIA to the very officers who worked under you during that time, they all accepted that these people were tortured, brought to us, and statements were taken. That was the system. That was the scheme. You are here to sanitize it. You want to give it that air of legality.
Councillor, are you saying that with all I said here, I didn't accept the fact that people were tortured and they brought in?
But why are you arguing? Why are you making it look like you people did no wrong?
That is your suggestion. I didn't say that. Because I said the panel
Okay,
there were
all right. Okay, let me toss aside everything that's been said. Did you people act in illegality?
Yes and no. That's my take.
Okay. Spare us the no. We're not interested. Where you acted lawfully, we're not interested. Tell us where you people acted unlawfully.
This is where we accepted interviewing people who were in a state of
People who were tortured.
traumatized kind of people who came in.
People who were tortured. Accept that they were tortured, Mr. Witness.
They were beaten. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And is beating not torturing? Especially if they are in the hands of state officials?
Use any of the adjectives, Council. I have no problems with that.
Give us a definition of torture, Mr. Witness.
I am not here to define torture.
No,
I'm
Mr. Witness, you are a lawyer. You are an Inspector General of Police,
Yes.
assistant. You've led investigations at the highest level in this country. Tell us what is torture.
Torture is what it is because it's self-explanatory. There is nothing.
Okay, tell us what
torture is torture.
Tell us what it is.
Torture is torture. That's my take.
Tell us what it means, Mr. Witness. No, because only if you don't know what it means, Mr. Chair.
Indicate that don't take us back to the Lamin Dabo appearance here between torture and beating.
But
would allow this punching to go back and forth. You both appealed to be twice, made reference to the chair on that. Yes, I do allow some punching to go back and forth, left hook, right hook, left hook, right hook. You do that. But at some point, we would need to get back to the substance, answer his questions, and we would go ahead. And perhaps, Council, if you make them shorter for him, we would just answer
Mr. Chair,
them.
I ask this question
I know.
because it is important for us to know whether our security officers understand what is torture. Because if they don't understand what is torture, they cannot prevent it from happening.
Well, please go ahead and answer the
What
question.
is torture?
Yes or no? Yeah.
Torture is the inhuman treatment of an individual.
No, that is not torture.
It's like doing any kind of beating, you call it, and causing trauma to the person based on what is applied on the individual. So I said that these people, some of them were beaten, were tortured and brought before the panel.
Finally, you have landed. No. Finally, you have landed. But that's all I wanted. That these people were tortured. You have used the word for the first time now, since we started 2 hours ago. They were tortured, correct?
Is it the first? Anyway, I said they came in tortured, beaten. I use a lot of words.
Exactly.
But
well, the one I was looking for, you have finally used. The eagles have landed. Thank you very much. Do you think it was lawful that you obtain statements from these people? Knowing
That's
that
a very important question. Can the interpreters come in now so that people get to know?
Yes, perhaps repeat your answer. They were beaten, they were tortured,
Yes, indeed.
they were manhandled. Could you repeat that?
Amunda Silang.
wiro to da ko jabi da
No. Take it from the witness.
Yes.
Could you say your answer? Repeat
wiro
your
to da ko
answer.
jabi da ko
and so my answer remains my answer from the day one that this
council
people were
komi
beaten.
wara ses komi jabi ko
The torture
kilande
is-
premier ko woni de be woni be bana be lappa ma te be wada ma ko council your mic
Sorry, interpreter, don't talk over each other. Let the witness answer the question again.
yes I was telling to make it
From the beginning, lead counsel,
kilande ma premier long komi ma kon council
what I said
wi mi kon
remains the same.
dum ha joni ko don dari sansake
Suspects
were
were
na ko tumabe
beaten out,
be lappa ma yasi
What is beat out?
on woni be lappa ma yasi
said beaten outside. They were
be
kind
lappa ma
of,
yasi
whatever happened to them happened outside the conference.
Some of what happened to them happened outside. Some of what happened to them happened
And so the
inside.
word torture I would use, they were tortured from wherever it happened and ushered in the
be
conference.
wada kon fo ko be wada ndako be lappa ndako hondum be wada ko hondum musi ko be wada fo ko yasi be wada
And they were interviewed.
Okay, good. And when they were brought in, you knew these people were tortured.
Gila be addama ka nder suudu ndu on andi ɓe yimɓe ɓe tampi ɓe lappuno ɓeɗo ha ɓe tampi.
Of course, their looks were not the ordinary looks, so that is obvious.
ko go ganda be woni non ay sai tan anda wonda be wada ma woni ko be wada
Could you answer the question more directly? Yes or no? Did you know that these people were tortured?
No a andi ɓeɗo ɓe lappama walla ɓe lappaka.
They looked like people who were tortured.
we wa weni yisbe be wada wonda be lappa ma
I put it to you, Mr. Witness, that you are again giving a very sanitized answer. You knew with certainty that these people were tortured.
Ha joni kala seede on aɗo moƴƴina haala ka kono noon gonga oɗon andi so ndaari yimɓe ɓe yimɓe a andi ɓe ko yimɓe manduɗa ɓe natti e nder mette par ce que ɓe lappama.
And please answer truthfully. The